Good evening and welcome to the Bedminster Township Committee. This is our regularly scheduled June 5th, 2023 meeting. Recognize that we have a full complement of the Bedminster Township Committee in attendance here in person at 1 Miller Lane. Ms. Ray, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, Mayor. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News Somerville, Burnsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 10th, 2023.
Great. Thank you. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have an action-packed meeting tonight, so we're gonna get right to it. This is the time of the meeting. We open up the microphone up there for public comment, and if you're participating by Zoom, you can bring your cursor down to the bottom of the screen, click on reactions, click on raise hand, and Ms. Ray will put you into queue. We'll start with in-person public comment. If you want to make a comment, please raise your hand. Come on up, and we will need your name and address, and speak clearly into the microphone, please.
Yes, evening. Michael Roden, Spencer Lane, Pluckerman, New Jersey. I want to thank the mayor and the committee members for all that they do. I want to thank Mr. Murray and Mr. Mastrobono for meeting with me over at River Road Dog Park recently. It was quite informative. Previous meetings, I was here, I made some questions and comments on the limit on River Road Park. Subsequent to that, I went over the 2008 master plan, and looking at the recreation part of that, I'm quite impressed with the 3 pavilions that have been built, the 5 ballparks, the walking and bike paths throughout Pluckerman, running water at the Pluckerman schoolhouse and the pavilion, all wonderful things. The only thing I didn't see was that happened was the mention of a trailhead at Block 59 off of Schley Mountain Road. I mean, that's very minimal, minor, and full of ticks. So I don't know who wants to go through there. I'd also like to thank Miss Ray for giving me a history on the dog park. That was very also informative. The reason I'm here today basically is Burnt Mills Road Dog Park. It's in sad shape. It's basically a sand pit. It is very difficult to use with the dog. We used it recently because River Road was closed for an event, and it was not much fun with the sand. I could not throw a ball. My dog kept on bringing back a sand-filled ball. We spent about 5 minutes in there and then ended up using a 50-foot leash and walking the fields, which brings me to the fields. There are, in the master plan, 6 ball fields, 4 of which are labeled Pluckerman Schoolhouse, River Road Park. There's 2, 3, and 4. Over at Burnt Mills Park, the ball fields aren't numbered, and they're in disuse, it would seem. I neglected to send an email to Mr. Mastrobono and ask him about the usage of that field and how many times that it is booked for baseball versus other activities. So the dog park at Burnt Mills Road, as I understood it from my conversations with Mr. Mastrobono and with Mr. Murray, is that that's on future thought process, drainage, this, that, and the other thing. Having experienced the park, it's, I think, an absolutely great opportunity to revisit the master plan and where we want to go with Burnt Mills Park. Two ball fields that are basically in disuse that probably would go great for soccer, lacrosse, all the things that are popular today. And a new dog park, not trying to play with what's there. It's got drainage problems. It's got the sand pit. It's got a weak fence system, actually. That's, I don't know. But I would like to know what I can do, what the township committee would be interested in pursuing, not renovating Burnt Mills Dog Park, but actually making a new dog park in part of the fields. There's a nice section straight at the end of the parking lot that is not next to the child's playground. Child's playground is nice. It's been recently fixed up. We saw children playing there, and a dog on a leash walking down the path by that playground doesn't prevent a child from running towards the dog, yelling, "Doggy, doggy, doggy," and putting the situation on dog owner where the dog is frightened by a child. Again, that's why I would like to know what we can do to make a new park versus renovate Burnt Mills Road. And I'd also like to comment and thank the Department of Public Works for the tree removal that they started on today at River Road Park. Okay. And that's pretty much it. And
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Roden, for your comments. I do not believe that we have any immediate plans to build a new dog park at Burnt Mills. There's been years of discussion about improving the drainage at the existing dog park. Kevin, I'm not sure if there's any different ideas regarding the dog park at Burnt Mills. Maybe you have some drainage ideas?
So drainage was in the master open space plan, what about the master plan, the capital open space plan that we put forth this year approved. So added drainage to that, topsoil, grass seed.
At Parks.
As for the other fields, I can speak off of my experience. Those fields are really used well because they don't drain well. That entire field doesn't drain well. We have a good saturating rain, even the center, like the outfields, they're standing water. Same with down below. The entire thing's built on shale, so it just doesn't drain. So that's why we're going to add drainage to the front of the salt.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roden.
thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Seeing none, we will move on with the rest of the Township Committee meeting. We have one set of minutes for approval. That is the May 15, 2023 Township Committee meeting minutes. Any comments or questions that have not been provided to Ms. Ray? Now is an opportunity to do so. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the May 15, 2023 minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Permits and raffles. We're going to, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 permits and raffles to go through. We're going to take H, which is number 8, and we're going to move that to the top. And number 8 is the golf equestrian event permit for Live Golf Tournament, August 7 through the 14th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily at Trump National Golf Club. Do we have any representatives from the Live Tournament? We do.
Yes, we do here.
Right, name and address, please. I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
Let's get you down there, and your affiliation. Okay, so name first.
Tim Flaherty.
Tim Flaherty. And
John Palacio.
John Placio. Okay, and you gentlemen are with Par 5?
We both work for Par 5, yes.
Okay. And what is Par 5's relationship to the tournament?
Par 5 has been hired by Live Golf to manage all the operations for their 8 domestic US events this year.
Okay, so we went through this last year, and I guess this, so just so everyone realizes, this is the special event permit for large-scale golf events, equestrian events, similar to what might happen over at Moreland Farms. Thank you. And so this is not a construction permit. This isn't anything other than the routine permit that is applicable for an event that's going to host a lot of people. Okay, so with that, Mr. Flaherty, Mr. Fazio, if you want to just walk us through the live event and what we're looking for with respect to construction timeline and really the event itself.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we were here last year with Live Golf. For those of you who don't know, Live Golf is, I will say, a competing tour with the PGA Tour. We put on 5 U.S. events last year. Bedminster was our second event. Last year, there were also 3 international events. This year, there's 8 events in the U.S. And 6 international events. So they have a 14 event tour. Those of you that follow golf, there's been a lot of talk about Live Golf in the golfing press and the sporting press. A year ago, we sat before you without really knowing anything. We dealt with a very hectic year. JP and I both worked at the United States Golf Association right up the hill. In those days, we would run championships. We would know where we were going 5 years out. As you recall, last year was a very short window. We had maybe an extra month this year, but the good thing is we know the site, we have the vendors. JP is here. He will handle all of the permits. We've already got a good start on that. I'm the tournament director. JP is the operations director. But back to, just about Live. Live has come a long way. When we were sitting here a year ago, Phil Mickelson wasn't signed up. Dustin Johnson wasn't signed up. So it's become a big thing in golf. It's been very successful. The PGA Tour likes to discount that, but we are only a year old. The golfing press likes to discount everything we do, but we are only a year old. Our first event was last July 4th. So Par 5 Group, which is our company, we've managed 9 Live Golf events in the last 11 months. So we've done 9 similar events in the last 11 months. We've already done 4 this year. Next on the schedule is the Greenbrier in August, which is the week preceding us. So a lot of focus now is on obviously the Greenbrier and our crew that will be here to put this one on. I just want to go through, I handed out a few handouts, nothing overwhelming. First page is just key contacts. You'll see myself, John Palacios on there. We've got Chris Alvarez, who just was the operations director down at DC and Trump, an event that ended last week. Jenna Curry has done a couple events this year already. We'll do volunteers. And then we've got Brett Aaron and Mike Fogel from Ingress Events, which is basically a security company. They work on the Super Bowl. They work on the college football national championship. Very well-respected national company. And what they are is sort of a go-between between Somerset County, the town of Bedminster, and us. But they sort of bring us all together. I'll get into security. We worked closely with John Fodor last year, and we'll do so again. But I just point those gentlemen out. They work for Par 5, but they are there to sort of bring everything together, and they have a wealth of experience with major events. Just briefly to talk about the schedule, it's the exact same as last year. I'll go through it quickly. Monday through Wednesday are practice rounds. There are no spectators Monday through Wednesday. Very low key. We only have 48 players. If those of you that remember the Women's Open here in 2017, that was 156 players. This is a much different animal. This is only 48 players. So those practice rounds are pretty quiet over there. Thursday is a pro-am. We bring in about 72 amateurs, and the players, again, closed to the public. Pretty low-key event. Our first competitive round is on Friday. The first time the gates will be open to spectators. We will have a 1:15 shotgun start. For those of you that don't know golf, if you watched a PGA or a US Open, they have tee times every 11 minutes for 156 players. We all go off at once. The 48 players all start at 1:15. They all end by about 5:30 to 6 o'clock. So it's much different than a normal tour event. It's a much shorter window. on a daily basis. And if you're in the operations business, the shotgun start is the best thing that ever happened to golf. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, again, all pretty similar. Shotgun goes off a little earlier on Sunday, but finishes around the same time. The award ceremony, again, is very, it's just on a small stage. It's on the leaderboard. That happens at 6 o'clock. Last year, I know we went round and round a little bit on a concert. We have no concert this year. There is no concert. I just want to be clear right off the bat. I remember Mayor Jacobs, a meeting about the concert. It was on, it was off. It was more frustrating for me than anybody, but no concert this year. I just want to make that clear. We will have a DJ booth on the 16th tee, a 12 by 12 structure, and that's it. So there's no concert stage, none of that stuff for a concert. So that's quickly it on the schedule of events. I also passed out a map. This will look familiar to last year, but I wanted to point out a few key changes to the map. I'll go through parking, but essentially we plan on bringing people in the same way out by Redtail Farm. Last year we had Fan Village in that area on Copperwaith Road. That has moved. If you look over towards the clubhouse, you will see that we have moved Fan Village out of that Copperwaith Road area over near the clubhouse and the 15th hole. That has been moved. The Birdie Shack was at the 10th green, again, very close to Copperwaith Road. We have moved that to the 16th tee. Okay. We also had the volunteer headquarters in that area, and we have moved that out. That will be by the 10th tee. That is somewhat tentative, but the volunteer headquarters will not be where it was last year on Copperwaith Road. We will move it away from the road, away from the easements, as has been requested. So I think those are the major things to the map. We still have a major structure on the 18th hole called Club 54. I've handed out some renderings for that. Also at 16 will be Birdie Shack. Again, you have a picture of that. And the Gallery Club will be at 17. Those are the three main hospitality structures that we will be building. Last year we had observation decks on the golf course out on the 6th hole and 7th hole. No more observation decks this year. We're just going to do a deck, one deck at the first tee, but that's it. So the build is actually smaller this year than it was last year, with less of those observation decks.
So observation, grandstands or no grandstands?
No grandstands, yeah. So I saw you, Mayor, looking at the document. Those are stamped drawings that we delivered to Vinny this afternoon. Those are the main structures. Those are stamped, wet stamped data drawings, engineered drawings for all of our structures, all of our tent structures on the course. This week, we're also expected to have delivered to us all of the flooring, scaffolding, which will be similar to those drawings, but we hope to have those by the end of this week, so that all of our major structures, we know what we're building, and we will hopefully have the stamped engineered drawings for both flooring and tents by the end of the week. Obviously, that was a big issue last year, and we have tried to get out in front of it this year. Any questions on or you can ask questions at the end, or I was just gonna, but again, very much the same as last year with those few key moving pieces. Going on to parking and transportation, it worked extremely well last year. It will be much the same plan. We parked at Redtail Farm. We have about 1,400 spaces there. Everybody walks in from there. We also have the Johnson property across the street. We bused people from there. We parked probably 1,200 to 1,500 cars over there. We have the capability to expand probably to 3,000 cars over there if we want to. So our plan has been, our crowds last year were in the 5,000 to 8,000 range. We're expecting them maybe more, 10,000, 11,000, maybe as high as 12.
That's per day?
Per day.
Is there a difference between the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday attendance?
Generally, yeah, we usually, the biggest day is usually Saturday, and that was the case here. Friday, what's interesting is there's not a lot of corporate hospitality at this event. The Friday at a PGA Tour event is usually the biggest because of corporate hospitality. We don't really have that. It's more just the spectators. So I would say, that the crowds we're expecting on Friday are in the 5,000 to 7,000 range, whereas Saturday may be 7,000 to 10,000. And Sunday will be would be somewhere in between those two. Sunday is generally slow in golf with people going to church in the morning and things like that. So traditionally, Sunday's a little bit slower, but our big day is Saturday. But, so the public parking plan, much the same as last year, using Red Tail and also the Johnson property. We also have available to us Raritan Valley Community College, which would be our overflow. If we were to get upwards of 12,000 people, we would most likely have to move as well to Raritan Valley, where we have about 2,000 to 2,200 paid spots. And we used that last year for groups like club employees, the catering people, a lot of people working the event. We also did rideshare and Uber. And I will mention that in tournament golf these days, Uber and rideshare have become a big component of that. So we're looking at some different ways to do that. But to give you an example, JP and I ran the event out in Tucson, but we had 1,000 people a day showing up in Ubers. And then, so I just mentioned that.
But if they're taking Ubers and rideshare, are they taking them to the golf course, or are they taking them to?
Last year, we had them go to Raritan Valley and they were
Okay.
shuttled in.
Okay. and this
Ideally,
year-
you like to keep them away from the golf course.
Right.
Because you got 1,000 people coming in and out. So we try that, but you
For
can't
the
always.
same for this year.
Yes, for now. We are looking at, for example, maybe doing rideshare. Someone threw out maybe the Presbyterian Church on Lamington Road, because it's closer, the shuttle would be shorter, but it has to fit into the bus loops. That's the whole issue, getting people in there from different bus routes. So, but I just mentioned that because the Uber thing has become kind of interesting for us, where we need less parking lots, but we need to have a good plan in place for Uber, because they do we pay Uber to geo-fence the property, and they're not supposed to drop them at the front gate, but they end up doing. People just say, let me out, this is Trump, so, but not. So you deal with that, but the police can get involved with that as well.
And the traffic flow for those going to Red Tail, or even those going to the Johnson property, off 78 into Red Tail. If they're going to Johnson, off 78 onto Lamington, and then down to the Johnson property.
Yes.
Okay. So for Bedminster residents, that means very little to no impact in Bedminster Village, in Pluckman Village, at any of the other areas. And I'm going to turn to the chief to corroborate that from my experience just driving around town during the days of Live last year, I saw no traffic impacts at all. In fact, I think I drove down Lamington and went down by Red Tail. I didn't even see any cars out there. So you corroborate that there was no traffic impact. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Our vendor for parking and transportation is a company called Country Club Services, which is a local New Jersey company. They do the Masters, they do the US Open, and they do Live golf events. They are excellent. They know these roads better than anybody. So I will say Liv does a lot of surveys. Parking and transportation was a 9.4 out of 10 from spectators and people who came to the property. So, and I would agree with you that the disruption of Bedminster was minimal. It's just great having 78 right there with the Red Tail entrance. Even the egress is just boom, they're out of there.
And the ticket availability. So my recollection from last year, it was online sales only, exclusively. Yes. So that you already had an advance idea of how many tickets were going and how many attendees. There's no purchase of tickets at the event itself. Is that still the case?
They can purchase at the gate, but 95% of tickets are bought prior to online. But there is the ability to buy tickets at the gate. But we don't really advertise that.
And when will the tickets go online?
My guess is in a short time, because we're 60 days out, I think, this week. So it'll be coming up shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's parking, transportation, security. Just to go through it, last year we dealt with the county, Chief Inspector John Fodor and Frank Romano were our main contacts. Chief Rock was involved as well. Obviously, Chief Bernardo will be involved here as well. We have, in my few discussions with John over the last couple of months, the security plan is going to be much the same. The parking and transportation will be much the same. So the perimeter outside the gates will be much the same command posts. They work extremely well. Inside the gates, inside the fence, again, pretty much the same posts, all those types of things. The same people will be involved. So we have a meeting this Thursday, June 8th, which is the first meeting. So Secret Service will be there. Everybody will be there. That'll be a meeting of about 25 people to get things rolling. The county is very good to work with. John is very buttoned up. Of my impression last year, we've had very few security problems at live events. A little bit of excessive drinking every so often. We've had no protests this year. There was some protests that we dealt with last year with Live Golf. We have had none this year. We've already had 4 events. There have been no protests at all. Even the ones last year were a little blown out of proportion. They were very minimal, but we have had nothing this year. So that's security. Again, I just mentioned we have Ingress, who comes in, who has a great feel for events and coordinating with the different municipalities, county. Everywhere you go is different. Is it the county? Is it the town? Is it the state? So Ingress has a great feel for that, tries to bring us all together. As far as fire, health, safety, we have a meeting with Steve Dill in the morning. He's online.
He's online.
We have a meeting at 10 o'clock. We managed to get our caterer there. We have a new caterer this year. It's a company out of England. So we felt it was important to get them at that meeting. So
Thought it was a good idea to get English food into here? Is that what you're getting at?
Don't get me going.
Okay.
We did an RFP process, and we recommended a U.S. company, but we deal a lot with people in London, and somehow we end up with the British caterers. They're learning the ropes. They've done 3 of it. They didn't do the first event, but they've done the last 3. They're getting better, but we wanted to get them with the town. We'll do that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with Steve and his department. That's kind of it operationally. Did you need more than that?
So what's your construction schedule? So
I'll
do a
turn
little
that-
bit of reverse engineering.
Yep.
You want to be up and operational by August 7th. Obviously, you want maybe a couple days before that. So what's your schedule for permits and then actual work?
So I'll turn it over to JP. JP came from the USGA. I met JP when he was an intern in Hutchinson, Kansas, at Prairie Dunes Country Club in 2006. But we pried him away from the USGA. He has done events all over the country, US Opens. He has dealt with permitting in places from LA to places like Toledo, Ohio. So JP is a coup for us to get him. We lured him away from the USGA. So he will be overseeing the permitting, and he can just walk you through just some of what we need to take care of in the timeline.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, one thing, what I typically do is I just put a binder together. That there's a document here that says table of contents. All these items here are going to be enclosed into that binder. We've already got some of that already done. Some of that's already been hand delivered. Benny, I know you got a packet or drawing there that are stamped, things like that, and we'll be adding more to that. As Tim mentioned, we do have those more engineering drawings coming. We will have that third-party engineer to inspect on site once the build has been erected, constructed, all that. We'll have that third-party engineer that will come out and verify everything's been built according to the plans that have been stamped. So we will have that third-party engineer on site. In addition, as you mentioned, construction timeline, as 2A there, we are going to start receiving some material, flooring, just things, equipment, starting on June 26th, and then we'll start the build on July 6th. That's the current status of the construction process. Obviously, our intent is to have everything will be erected at least, a week and a half prior to the event. Obviously, it's just minor details that are happening during advanced week, the week before the tournament. So In addition, with the, everything else here in the operations plan, again, we'll provide more drawings on the scaffold, the bill jacks type system for the flooring. We do got the tent, flame retardant certificates, so should be able to share that with Steve tomorrow. So it's got all fire retardant certificates for all the tents. We'll have a scope of work of all of our generators that we'll have out on course. Certainly all those will be grounded. We'll have fire extinguishers next to them. And all generators will be placed according to the IBC, the International Building Code. And I'll talk to Steve tomorrow about this, but typically we have those generators placed 20 feet away from any type of structure. So we'll have all that laid out in our site plans. We will have some on-site fuel tanks. So again, we'll notify Steve about that. But obviously, all that's back of house, away from general public. We'll be, have extinguisher, emergency shut off, all that, all those safety precautions. In addition, they'll be enclosed of a sanitation scope of work that will kind of demonstrate our waste removal plan. So having dumpsters on site, including restrooms, out on course, parking lots, all those things. So all that will be laid out in that sanitation scope of work. Furthermore,
So you're gonna have sanitation facilities at the remote parking as well as on-site.
that's correct. Yep. And obviously, each one of those restroom pods, as we would say, at each location throughout the golf course, would be one ADA accessible restroom unit, off-site and on-site. That's a good lead into our ADA compliance program. So again, any public facilities, there will be ADA accessibility. We actually just invested in 2 ADA wheelchair transporters to be able to transport a seated person throughout the golf course. We created a internal kind of shuttle system, multi-passenger cars to be able to shuttle those that are seated or those that can't walk very far. We allow them to use like a shuttle system on site. Again, ADA compliant restrooms out on course, and then simply it's just a vendor list that just lets you all know what vendors that we've hired, from restrooms to fencing to catering to concessions, which just to let you know, we only have one caterer and concessionaire. There's one group that handles all catering and concessions on course. And then obviously we'll have a course map and then certificate of insurance. So we'll create 2 copies. If you guys need more, we can certainly make more, but that's the plan, is to have all this enclosed into that binder here shortly and hand it off.
Great. So once again, our authority is on the golf equestrian event permit, all the details associated with construction, with fire, with electrical, all the subcode rests under Vinnie Tamburi's oversight and with Steve Dill on fire. So our questions really should be limited to the event itself, not to those details on construction. Having said that, Vinnie, Steve, anything that we should know about from the Township Committee, or Robin, if you have any questions, same with the Chief, questions or information you think that would be useful for the Township Committee?
Other than I had put together, compiled all the comments from the different professionals in the different departments that I sent out to all of you. We received their application and the application fee as well, so we're complete on our end.
Okay.
I got a question. For the build out, last year you guys shut Capitol Fleet to through traffic. What date do you expect that to happen this year?
I think we should discuss whether that needs to be done. If it needs to be done, I would say about 3 weeks out. I think we did it 3 weeks to 3 to 4 weeks out last year, but
Wasn't it you guys who wanted that shut? You're saying this year you don't?
I'm not sure that it's needed. I think we should discuss that. Well, let's discuss that with Chief Fodor on Thursday, whether that needs to happen.
Yeah, last year you would have had activity around Capperthwaite, and this year it doesn't look like there's any structures out there.
There's much less, that's why I mentioned that, so.
Questions, comments from Township Committee?
Fireworks?
No fireworks.
You guys interested in adding like a plus 46 golfer to your tour? That's me. I mean, I can fill
Might
that
have a
role if
pro-am
you want.
spot for you.
Michael Block?
There you
Next
go.
Michael Block.
Yeah.
I'll let you know on the pro-am, there might be a spot or two.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But the fireworks, I will add, this comes up everywhere we go. We do, they do sort of a Formula One type prize presentation. And there are, what are they called?
Sparkulators.
They're more like sparkulators, where we've been told they're not pyrotechnics, so just to answer your
They're
question.
just on the stage.
Exactly.
Exactly, but no big boomers in the sky or anything like
And that would go through Steve Dill.
Right.
That'll go
Yep.
through Steve and the fire
Yeah, I
department.
have information on that to
My dog was asking.
pass on.
You mentioned a DJ booth. I assume that's going to be operating during the hours of the tournament, not
Yes.
after hours, not late.
Yep, the gates will open, again, there's a lot of activity pre-golf in the fan village, and that will be at the clubhouse. And the DJ booth, I don't know how well you know Trump, but it will be on the red tees on the 16th hole by the pond. So that pre-shotgun, there'll be all the people around the putting green, they can do what they need to do for that, and then they will spin around as the players come down 16 and play 18, they will sort of commentate and do what DJs do. But it's a very small footprint, but yeah, nothing, we should be done by 6 o'clock.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
If there are no further questions or comments, I'll take a motion to approve the golf equestrian event permit for Live Golf from August 7 to 14, 2023.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Welcome.
wish for an uneventful
Event.
event
Yeah.
here in Bedminster. So
No,
thank-
we thank you, we
Yeah.
thank everybody, we appreciate it, it's great to be here. JP and I, we spent some rough weeks in Tulsa, so as we walked around Trump today, it's such a beautiful piece of property, we're happy to be back here. And I've been here, I heard you talking about Brothers Pizza, I moved here in 1996 to work for the USGA, and Brothers Pizza was a beauty salon at that time, and I lived in the back of the beauty salon.
Oh, my goodness.
So, but, it all comes back to where you started.
It all comes back to pizza.
1996. But we look forward to working with you. Again, I know there were some issues last year. We're doing everything in our power to avoid them. We have a much better feel for what we're doing. And that was really nobody's fault because nobody really knew what we were doing last year. So we're in a much.
Might have been somebody's.
Yeah, but
Come on.
I guarantee you all, we are in a much better place and it will be from your end, a much better experience.
Great.
Thank you.
Great,
luck-
and thank
good
you
luck
for-
to you.
thank you for the advanced coordination with our construction department, because that
We
makes
thank them.
everything goes smooth.
We will continue to stay on top of it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, the rest of the permits and raffles. Social fair permit to benefit the Center for Great Expectations on July 18, 2023, from 12:30 to 5:30 PM at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. Next is an on-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Autism New Jersey, Inc. That's on September 11, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. An on-premise merchandise raffle to benefit Autism New Jersey, Inc. on September 11, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. An on-premise merchandise raffle to benefit Freedom House, Inc. on June 26, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. An on-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Trinitas Foundation on September 26, 2023, at 2 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. And then we have a fireworks permit for a fireworks display scheduled for June 29, 2023 at approximately 9:30 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club, 1040 Parsville Road, Bedminster. Let's stop right there and let's hold off the fireworks permit for now. Any comments or questions regarding the first 5 permits and raffles? Seeing none, take a motion to approve the first 5. That's A through E on your agenda.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, for the fireworks permit, let's see who's going to address the, Steve. Steve?
Steve, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Steve, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
So have you had a chance to go through the fireworks application for the June 29 event at Hamilton Farm Golf Club?
Yes, I've taken a look at it. It's same as they've had in the past years.
Okay, so
No
everything
issues.
ordered,
Yeah, no issues.
your end?
Yes.
Okay, any questions, comments from Township Committee?
Just, what's the duration? Are we talking 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Anybody know?
I have the permit here. Let's see.
Says 18 to 20 minutes.
18 to 20.
Yeah.
18 to 20. Thanks, Renee.
You're welcome.
That's gonna be one of, June 29th, is gonna be one of the longer
More
days of the
days,
year,
yeah,
so
so
it's
it's not-
gonna be pushed back a little bit.
Yep,
And
yep.
just note that there is a rain date
For
that's scheduled
September.
for the fall, correct?
Right. Any further questions or comments? Take a motion to approve the fireworks permit for June 29 at Hamilton Farm Golf Club.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, which brings us to the last permit of the night, which is a special use permit for New Jersey American Water for a temporary treatment trailer from June 13, 2023 through June 12, 2024 at Hamilton Farms Golf Club. And as you all may remember, this is a treatment trailer that is set up to treat water at the Hamilton Farm Golf Club, operated by New Jersey American Water. This is a year duration of the permit. We've had discussions in the past with New Jersey American Water about coming up with something on a more permanent basis. So I presume they are not in position for a more permanent situation.
Not now, no, they're not. They're requesting an extension. Jim is not here tonight to go over this with us, but they did put on our application that this would be continued use with the zoning application we made for a permanent June building at a future date, but nothing is.
Yeah, my recollection was that I thought Jim was actually, we're going to have some representative from New Jersey American Water here tonight.
That's correct, but he's not here. If you'd like to postpone this to the next meeting, we certainly can. I did include a copy of last year's permit as well as the map that I put together showing you the location, in case there's any questions.
So John, for John Blardo, we've gone through this a couple of years and we
Yes, I
have asked them to
I
come up
recall.
with a more permanent situation, either an application to the land use board or some other long-term remedy. So your thoughts are that we can just continue doing those one-year special use permits?
Within your discretion under the ordinance, Mayor.
And it says right there in the application, zoning application to be made for permanent treatment building at a future date.
Which is what it said on last year's.
Right.
Questions or comments? The structure is, in my opinion, is not visible from Pottersville Road, which probably the only road it might be. Chief, are you aware of it being visible from Fowler or Pottersville or Larger Cross?
I'm not aware.
Yeah, I've peered around looking for it, haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Is there any reason in particular you can think of we might want to lean on them for putting in a more permanent structure?
Well, it would, they would have to come back to us every year and put it at our discretion, and there might be some long-term treatment solution that would rectify the water issue up there. So, in my opinion, and this is just me, since it's not visible from the road, we've done this from the past. The message has been delivered to New Jersey American Water that they do need to consider a permanent solution. I am in favor of extending the special use permit another year. That's me. But this is obviously a TC decision, so if there's any other comments or questions, now's the time to put it out there. Or if anyone wants to ask direction specifically of New Jersey American, just as Robin said, we can ask them to make an appearance.
Is there a limit on the number of times we can extend this permit?
John says we can do it every year.
Every year?
Within your discretion, but at some point, obviously, you could not extend it and demand that they come in with a more permanent structure. Or you could do it for 6 months now and tell them you want to know by the end of the 6-month period what they're going to do in terms of permanency.
So we just approve the 1 year and tell them within this next year, you got to have something more permanent. That next year is different. And that's what we want to do. Do we have a sense of how long the treatment has to be there?
It's the warm months. Summer, the heat.
Ad infinitum into the future?
As long as it stays warm.
So indefinitely.
So it's not like it's like another year or two and then it'll go away?
June, July, August, September months. The treatment trailer comes in for June, July, August, September, when there's high heat.
Kevin, do you have any information about
Maureen?
it? No, sir. Not through the fire department or not through TPW?
I
Okay.
can have them come back if you like to the next meeting, if you want to impress upon them.
No, I think Doug's idea is appropriate. Extend it for another year, but once again, they got to come up with, whether it's a use variance, if that's the issue, whether hesitant about making a permanent solution, or if there's some other reason, but, Colin, do you speak with, is Jim one of your contacts at New Jersey American?
He is not, but we can certainly reach out to him and follow up and figure out what the plan is long-term.
All right. So do we have a motion to approve the special use permit for New Jersey American Water from June 13, 2023 through June 12, 2024?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chairs. Committeeman Stevenson, let's start with you.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. We've got HPC coming up later this month. We've got a subcommittee meeting, I believe, next week, so report on that. The discussions are moving along. DPW, we heard earlier in the meeting, Kevin and his crew are out at the dog park at River Road, taking out some of those trees. So that work will hopefully conclude tomorrow. And then it's off to other parts of the township, right, with the tree removal, or are we going to return the?
We're gonna spend a lot of time with the park.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Dog park will be done tomorrow, and then there's stuff at JPH, there's a parking area by the farmer's market, there's a lot of dead trees.
Yeah. I guess we replaced our gasoline pump recently. Today. We're still doing preparing the dirt roads for the dust season coming up in mowing the grass and preparing the roads. So they're very busy down there, continuing to do good work. One thing that we probably should talk about is whether we want to adopt an ordinance talking about the right-of-way for trees, right? So we want to talk about that, get into that a little bit. There's an issue as to whether or not, you've got these dead ash trees, so we got to figure out whose responsibility it is along some of these right-of-ways. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of ash trees, so we're going to continue to work through that, come back with some potential suggestions, if any. And that's really all I've got, so I'll have more next week. Or
Are
next
you aware
next
of any other municipalities with similar ordinances regarding dead trees?
Yes, yes.
We spoke to John Vallarta and we had some guidance, so.
Okay, good.
basically on that.
Great.
Thank you, Committeeman Stevenson. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. Just a quick update on the Board of Health. They recently met and adopted an ordinance relating to what constitutes a substantial improvement. Previously, the trigger for a septic review following a remodel or during a remodel was based on a monetary value. And they ran into what I'll dub the Italian marble problem. Somebody decided to remodel the interior of their home, use high-end finishes like Italian marble, and guess what? They triggered a septic review because it was based on a monetary value. So the board has now revised our ordinance so it adopts the state's definition of substantial improvement. That's language from 2012, which should alleviate the need for those unnecessary reviews. Mayor, that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Mareski.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, all. As everybody knows, the Field of Honor had a kickoff last Saturday. I was not able to attend, but from what I heard, we had about 60 attendees who came in to listen to our White House Woodwind Symphony. They got a treat for about an hour. Several of the trustees did some house tours, and I know that a lot of the people who took the tours after the tour was done stayed and asked a lot of questions about the house and the local history, so that was exciting for them. They had face painting for the kids. They had some popcorn and drinks for purchase. They were able to sell some of the sponsorships for the flags, which was great. And they had a couple of the attendees express interest in joining the board. Unfortunately, the day was cut short by the rain, so that was kind of bad. But just know there are still more flags for purchase and for sponsorships. And we look forward to the rest of the season.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Thank you. The flags look great out there, as always.
And thank you, Kevin, for helping.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few quick rec updates. So camp registration has basically been completed, and session A, there's 3 sessions of camp. For Camp Bedminster has 121 campers, session B has 126, and session C has 122. And that's about 20 more campers than there were in 2022 and 30 more than in 2021. So the camp attendance is growing for Camp Bedminster. The majority of the afternoon camps are full or close to being full, and all summer camp staff have been hired. As far as programs go, adult sand volleyball at Pluckerman Park will begin this Wednesday. There's currently 30 participants registered, which is great because I know they were looking for more participants, so they got them. And it's a free program for Bedminster residents and just $10 for non-residents. The afternoon enrichment programs that take place at Bedminster School are going to wrap up this Wednesday, June 7th. And the Recreation Department and the Environmental Commission are teaming up to host a reptile demonstration and family movie night on Friday, August 25th at River Road Park. Snakes and Scales will bring native and exotic reptiles for those in attendance to meet during the hour-long program. Then they'll hear stories about the reptiles' rescue and recovery and learn some facts along the way, followed by a demonstration. And a movie will take place on a giant movie screen. Lyle Loud Crocodile is the current movie choice, but that could change. And the rec committee is looking to bring in a food vendor truck or something similar to that for the movie night. There will be a 3 versus 3 basketball tournaments take place on Saturday, August 26th. That will include Bedminster, Bernardsville, and Peapack Godstone Rec departments that will host this event. And that will take place at the Pluckman Park outdoor basketball courts for boys and girls grades 5 through 12. And lastly, Fall Fest is scheduled, as you know, for Saturday, October 28th from 12 to 5. The Fall Fest letters and exhibitor and sponsor registration forms and information have been mailed out. 10 food trucks have been scheduled for Fall Fest, and inflatables and pony rides have been reserved, as well as face painter and balloon twister. So it's looking to be a great event. So that's all I have for it.
Hey, Gina, that's all you have? Hey, Gina.
Yeah.
Is there an over 50 bracket for that 3-on-3 tournament?
I don't know.
The geriatric division?
Yeah.
I want to sign up for that.
That sounds
I want
fun,
to get on
right?
that. You should have that.
We should do like if we do adult sand
Just make sure we
volleyball.
have the ambulances on site.
Yeah.
But can we make it 6-on-6?
Yeah, the
instead of
first aid
3-on-3?
squad has to be present for that
Renee,
one.
it's only a game that's up to 5.
Oh, then 5-on-5? 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't reach and move in that sand.
No, basketball.
Oh, I thought you said it's volleyball.
No, basketball.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying like
got
the
it.
volleyball, similar adult
Oh, gotcha.
basketball,
You
geriatric.
could have the basketball on sand volleyball courts and see how long that goes.
That
Yeah, I don't know how that's.
definitely
gonna go,
need
man.
first aid squad.
Oh, my God.
That's a lot of stuff over there, Gina.
That is a lot.
That's a lot
Yeah.
going on,
Well,
yeah.
Gina, you guys are doing a lot of work, and thank you to Neil
Yeah,
Mastrobuono.
he's great.
Aside from working on the dog park and the other parks, that's a lot of programs to be putting through, especially great news about the attendance at Camp Bedminster. So let me start with the Land Use Board. So I think I mentioned this the last time that Committeeman Hickey and I, along with Robin Ray, did a walkthrough with property owners down through Pluckball. We actually had a meeting here first back in April, and then in May we did a walkthrough with a number of the property owners and operators of businesses in Pluckman, and we started at the Pluckman Inn, worked our way south, worked our way back, and looking at the streetscape, looking at the way things are working out there, and once we're making improvement, coming up with ideas that we can make improvements to the streetscape. We also had our compatriot in trouble with us, Walt Lane from the county, who was there to encourage this type of planning exercise, and to also discuss about the opportunity for grants that may be available for planning or for implementation of the streetscape and pedestrian connectivity, and looking at ways in which our village of Pluckman can connect better internally, right? So one side of the street with the other side of the street, as with Somerset Hill Shopping Center and coming down Burnt Mills Road, moving away, but also as a way to also connect better to the residential areas, and as a way to make improvements and get some of the businesses and the residential areas to work together. So work in progress. We'll continue to develop some ideas. Robin took great notes, and we'll be revisiting this issue as we move forward. Excuse me. Also with land use, the Land Use Board, something that was initiated in part by an ever vigilant review of the Bedminster Master Plan, is looking at the ORV, which is Office Research Village zone. We have 2 properties, both one in Pluckman Center and one in Bedminster Village. The Advanced property, which is zoned ORV, in Pluckman, it's the Crossroads and One Pluckman Way property that are in the ORV. And something that we've been looking around and going, some of these buildings, there's not a lot of cars in the parking lots there. So there's an opportunity to change the zoning. We did have a meeting with one of the property owners, which has potential to locate a significant company looking for headquarters space in Bedminster. It would require tweaking the ORV zone. Issue was raised to the Land Use Board, which endorsed the concept of adjusting the master plan to allow for some mixed uses in there, not residential, but incorporating some retail component into this office research village zone, intended to create what the zone was originally created for, was a transition from the highway office research going to the village areas. But in today's world, looking at what the office users want, and we don't currently have at these areas, is some retail mix, so that there could be some restaurants that would support the businesses that are located in the office research area, as well as being available to other businesses and residents in Bedminster. So what we expect to happen is Frank Banish, our town planner, is making revisions to the master plan, and a master plan hearing will be scheduled with the land use board for June 29th. Notices are being prepared and will go out to special notice for the master plan adjustments to the ORV zone. After that master plan is adjusted, if it is approved, then I will be presenting, along with John Bellardo, a proposed ordinance to tweak, once again, this ORV zone so that we can allow for these retail uses to come in, once again, we're not changing it from an office research to retail. We're not creating a new shopping center. We're just providing, well, this is what we're anticipating, is we're providing the opportunity for some retail to augment the office space that's otherwise permitted. So that adjustment will be, if all goes on schedule, we'll come in with an introduction of an ordinance for the first Township Committee in July, with referral back to the Land Use Board for consistency review, and then coming back to the Land Use Board for second read and public hearing at our second meeting in July. So another element that's out there. And on rezoning, sticking with the rezoning topic, our rezoning of the AT&T campus, it's world famous in New Jersey. We made the cover of Real Estate New Jersey, which not to put my plug on the cover, but really was about the Township Committee and the Land Use Board and the effort that we went through in rezoning the property, and once again, in full coordination with Somerset County, and then our subsequent efforts with New Jersey EDA, the Economic Development Authority, and Choose New Jersey, and the governor's office, and these other state agencies that are working with us to put that property back into full productive use. So very good, very nice to see that rezoning effort was recognized on a statewide basis. And yes, I have been getting phone calls from developers and property owners, potential users who are looking at the property. And we know that coordination with MetLife as the property owner, that there's some moves afoot to be prepared for when AT&T does go to the new property, the former Malincrop property, which will be the new AT&T property. And I found out last week that the AT&T move to the former Malincrop site was actually nominated for an impact award in commercial real estate by the United Way, or the United Way maybe sponsors this event, and I don't know if it won, but the event was Friday. So I will find out later if AT&T and the property owners of Malincrop, soon to be AT&T space, received that award. That'd be nice to know. That's what we have on the land use side. Library board, we have a meeting coming up next week, and not tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be participating with Mayor Welsh at the Meet the Mayors event at the library. So Mayor Welsh and I will be there for about 45 minutes or so, taking questions from the public about anything regarding Bedminster and Far Hills. Farmers Market, record-breaking opening day, which also coincided with Coffee with a Cop, and Officer Matt Cooper was the cop who was there for coffee.
Awesome.
And maybe it's a coincidence that Officer Cooper was there in Coffee with a Cop when we hit 1,400 people. Our previous high was 1060, 1050.
Yeah, somewhere in that, yep.
In that area. So incredible opening day for the farmer's market. Lots of dogs, lots of people, lots of kids. So many, folks just happy to have the market back. It was really, really incredible. And it was interesting because last week, so it was the second day, right? So this last Saturday was the second day of the market. And we had 1,061, which would have been another record had it not been for hitting 1,400 the week before. So just a great job by all our volunteers. Once again, Neil Mastrobuono and Coffee with a Cop was a great hit. We've got some ideas for other functions with Bedminster Police Department.
Officer Cooper reminded me that the fact that he wasn't there on Saturday, that's why we didn't have 1,400 again.
So we will get Officer Cooper there, and maybe if it's not coffee, maybe it's ice cream?
Ice cream with a cop? Yeah, we have plans.
Cone with a cop.
Cone with a cop.
Cheeses with the chief.
Cheeses with the
Cheeses with the chief, yeah. You can try different cheeses.
All right, well, we'll table that, right?
We'll work on it.
We'll table that for maybe another discussion. But that's what I have from my subcommittees.
Great.
Ms. Ray?
So you also forgot to mention that you have the Civic Day at 1:30 on Friday with the Bedminster School 8th grades coming to ask the mayor all sorts of questions here.
Great.
So that's
Very
interesting.
I'll arm them with a couple questions.
Excuse me?
I'll arm them with a couple questions.
You're gonna have a ringer in the audience, right?
Yeah, don't call on the blonde kid.
So just a couple quick things. The community garden project, Bedminster Townships, was recently in the 2022 annual report. Just wanted to share that out. That went from Somerset County's open space annual report, so it's really nice. We had a 2-page spread in that. Last week, I met with DPW Director Kevin Murray, Sewer Utility Manager Rodney McCathern, Paul Ferrero, our municipal engineer, as well as Peter Black, who's from Dewberry. He's our sewer engineer on the Miller Lane Pump Station project. As you know, there's we were a congressional earmark for the grant last year. Now there's another application process we have to go through. So I sat in on a seminar, and then we all followed up with a meeting as to who's doing what and where we're at. So it's a lot of legwork on that.
So you've been awarded the money, but you still have other applications to go through.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's a pretty extensive application, actually. Also, next week I have a municipal clerks meeting, and I can't remember where, Hillsborough, where are we going? Hillsborough, Warren. The elections are tomorrow morning. Polls open at 6 a.m. for our primary elections. Polls close at 8 p.m., so please don't forget to get out and vote. And also a public service announcement for the Bedminster Far Hills is running, or I should say the Far Hills Bedminster First Aid Squad has their first annual road rally that's coming up. It's beginning at the Far Hills Fairgrounds. It's June 24th at 1 p.m. So
Now, it's not a race.
it's a
rally.
It's a car rally, yes. Car
It's not a
rally.
race.
Teams of 2, teams of 4. To say it's more fun with 4 people in your vehicle, and you have to guess clues how to get to the next location.
That's fun.
So it should be a
It's
lot
not
of
a
fun.
race.
Excuse me?
It's not a race.
No, it's not a race, it's a road rally. Did I say race?
No.
Okay,
I'm just
He's just
reminding
emphasizing.
everyone,
okay.
It's not the cannonball
especially in
run.
front of the chief.
And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ordinances to introduce. So that should make for a great June 20th meeting. So to introduce the ordinances, the first ordinance is ordinance number 2023-005. This is an ordinance appropriating $10,000 for the shared municipal court facility capital improvements. If we approve the introduction, the public hearing for the ordinance will be scheduled for June 20, 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers here at 1 Miller Lane. We have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2023-005.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, ordinance number 2023-006, an ordinance appropriating $25,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for street lighting upgrades. The public hearing for this ordinance, if approved, is scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. We have a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-006.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2023-007, an ordinance appropriating $25,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for various facility improvements in Bedminster Township. The public hearing for this ordinance, if approved, will be scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. With a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-007.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, ordinance number 2023-008, an ordinance appropriating $115,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the 2022 pavement management plan. Public hearing for this ordinance is scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. if approved.
Is that 2022 or 2023?
It's 2022.
2020.
We never did an ordinance for last year's capital improvement for
Right.
Got it. Thank
This
you.
is
Thank
the
you,
money
Ken.
that was allocated in 2022.
Yes.
Thank you.
So once again, if approved or if introduced, the public hearing will be June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. I take a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-008.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, ordinance number 2023-009, an ordinance appropriating $25,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the vehicle replacement plan for the Bedminster Township Police Department. If introduced, the public hearing for this ordinance will be scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. Motion to introduce ordinance number 2023-009.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2023-010, an ordinance appropriating $19,500 from the Capital Improvement Fund for mobile data terminals, MDTs, for the Bedminster Township Police Department. If introduced, the public hearing for this ordinance will be scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2020, introduce ordinance number 2023-010.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, an ordinance number 2023-011, an ordinance appropriating $10,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for various equipment for the Bedminster Township Police Department. If introduced, public hearing for this ordinance will be scheduled for June 20, 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2023-011.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2023-012, an ordinance appropriating $200,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the 2023 pavement management plan. If introduced tonight, the public hearing for this ordinance will be scheduled for June 20, 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2023-012?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, ordinance number 2023-013, an ordinance appropriating $132,500 from the Capital Improvement Fund for funds previously received by New Jersey American Water in lieu of half-road width pavement restoration of Ski Hill Road and Old Stonehouse Road in the amount of $132,500. If introduced tonight, the public hearing for the ordinance will be scheduled for June 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-013?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And last, ordinance 2023-014, an ordinance appropriating $16,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the Motorola UHF repeaters for the Bedminster Township Office of Emergency Management. If introduced tonight, the public hearing for the ordinance will be scheduled for June 20, 2023, 7 p.m. at these chambers. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-014?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Public hearing of ordinances. We have none for tonight, but we will have 10
Everybody wants to spend their money.
on June 20, 2023. And just as Robin said, if you're wondering why we have all these ordinances coming up, it's because we just approved the budget. It's official. So now it's time to spend the money that we've allocated. Consent agenda, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 resolutions on the consent agenda. These are resolutions of a routine nature. You can approve them all in one shot unless any township committee member wants to pull one or any number of them off for individual consideration. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the resolutions on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote again, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
This bill is right there, old business. DOT improvements. Robin, anything further from DOT?
Actually, yes, so, yes and no. I spoke with Meredith, a couple things. She's following up, some residents have made complaints about trees that were large ash trees on the highway. We reported those to Meredith. She's made some repairs. They're going out to assess the situation. As far as repairs go, there was some flaking underneath the pedestrian bridges by AT&T, and so those have been repaired with new cement. And then as far as the update on the bridge project, they are waiting for information from the project manager. So it's been pushed back at least 6 to 12 months from what was originally supposed to start. So maybe we're talking 2025. But I will have confirmation shortly. And
Just a quick reminder is that the approach that we selected for the bridge replacement was based upon timing to work with this school year.
that's correct.
So the 12-month doesn't bother me, but that 6-month,
Yeah.
because that might change the approach that we take with the road construction.
Agreed.
So it was time to get the work done in 3 to 4 months over the summer period. If that were to go in the middle of the year, we might take a different step.
So I do have questions. I did reach out to Meredith about the light poles for the crosswalk in Pluckerman, and they will work with us on a design.
Great. And this comes back to my earlier comment about doing the walk. One of the things that we had considered is that, there's a mix of streetlights, most of which are private, actually, all of which are private. But a way of identifying Pluckman that you've entered our village area, giving it some branding, giving it some labeling. One suggestion that came up, and actually this came up through the land use board, was have some common thematic street lighting. So since it's a village, you might do something along the motif or something along those lines. So that was one of the ideas mentioned. It seemed to get some traction with DOT, and they might be willing to install some or all of those streetlights and work with us on design. So thank you, Robin.
And just on the other signs that we had talked about, they narrowed it from 6 down to 5 in the Pluckerman. That's where we're at right now.
No, it's an improvement.
It's improving. I don't think we can get rid of any of the others at this particular point.
Even the
Okay.
men working signs?
Those can come down,
Okay.
but she doesn't know why they were there. But we've made the reduction from 6 down to 5.
Okay.
And the crosswalk study plans I did run by Paul Ferrer, and he was good with both.
Good. So one of the ideas was,
I've responded.
yeah,
to
our
your-
crosswalks, so, just we talked about the interconnectivity and sort of intra-connectivity between one side of Route 202, 206 and the other. Crosswalks and the notices and the signage are out of date. They vouch as there was a group of, I don't know, 14, 15 of us, and 4 of us had feet in the crosswalk about to go from the west side of the road to the east side of the road. Just moving down, sees us in the crosswalk, waves, and keeps driving around.
No notion of stopping.
Sure, so there's 4 of us in the crosswalk and probably 10 or 11 immediately behind trying to get into the crosswalk, and this car just went.
We gotta wait.
Well, now everybody knows what it's like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely some improvements that can be made there. Committeeman Hickey.
Quick update, Altice, work on the fiber upgrade project is continuing in Hills Village North. There's activity starting up in Wood Duck Pond as well as Four Oaks. Simultaneously, they are working on extending the fiber ring that goes up Hills Drive. You may have seen construction there last week. Big, long loops of fiber optic cable being laid everywhere. So that is in preparation so that they can extend into the neighborhoods in Hills Village starting midsummer. Work is also continuing on putting the rest of the neighborhood agreements to bed. We now have more neighborhoods that have signed up than not. We've received red lines from every neighborhood in the Hills with the exception of one, which will be forthcoming. So all that administrative work is happening in real time. JCP&L, Mr. Roden might be interested in this as well. They've offered to do some tree planting in whatever area we designate. In speaking with Committeeman Stevenson, Director Murray, and our rec director, and given the fact that Kevin, you've been busy taking out trees near River Road, at the dog park and River Road Park. We thought that might be an ideal spot to put some new trees in. We plan on meeting the JCP&L forester this week or next to discuss size, quantity, and location. So we can get smaller trees, but it might take a long time to get shade, or a few larger ones. But they want to kind of scope out the area and figure out what's the art of the doable. So that's the purpose of the meeting.
It's something that will actually survive in the shale.
Yeah, yes.
You might want to talk to Whit Parker.
We can grab him as well. I always interested.
He's always helpful.
Yep, agreed. That's all I have.
Okay, great. And John, I take it nothing new from Pluckman Park Senior Housing?
No, they would be contacting Mr. Stevenson.
Okay.
In any event, they've never contacted me directly.
Okay.
Nothing on that front there.
And it is 8:24. We do not have an executive session. So let's proceed to Township Committee comments. We'll start with Committeeman Stevenson.
Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to encourage folks to get out and vote. Of course, by the time they see the video, the vote will be over. But good luck to all of those on the ballot, including the gentleman next to me.
Thank you, Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Doug. And just to reiterate what Doug said, go out and vote tomorrow. Exercise your civic duty. Get out there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeewoman Mareski.
Absolutely. Everybody get out and vote, and hopefully Colin will do okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Committeewoman Fernandez.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin, for all your hard work with Altice. That's amazing. And just everybody get out and vote tomorrow in primaries.
So I'm going to do a quick little thank you to Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department, Far Hills Bedminster First Aid, Pottersville Volunteer Fire Company for a wonderful Memorial Day parade. Great, I'm not sure if Tony DiVirgilio went through his connection and why he's so invested in the Memorial Day parade. If he said in the past, it really resonated with me this year. So, I think it was just another tremendous example of what a wonderful small town and two wonderful small towns. There's nothing like that parade to drive home that we live in very small towns and where, you know, what Steve Parker used to say, you may be watching the parade, but you're going to end up being in the parade as you walk down Main Street to the fairgrounds in Fort Hills.
And Mayor's, if I may, gentleman playing taps, young Mr. Johnson, Bedminster resident, and Ms. Reeves just absolutely crushed the Star Spangled Banner twice.
Absolutely.
A cappella. And
Absolutely.
she gives you chills. She's amazing, but both Bedminster kids.
Yeah, both the bugle player, one of your neighbors, and the singer, one of your neighbors. Outstanding job. I mean, she's gotten better, and the bugler has gotten better every year. So thank you to the Johnsons and the Reeves for
Raising their kids.
for raising their kids and getting them those singing and
Talents.
and those lessons. Great talent. Great event. So thank you all. And yes, tomorrow is an election day. So Colin, I'm sure you'll do great. And Robin's got to get to bed. So we got to end this meeting. So I'll take a motion to adjourn at 8:27.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Oh, this is leaving the building.
No? AC? I guess